Hi, I'm Aurora Dixon, and I will be talking to you about Beethoven's final masterpiece, as I call it, or his biography. Beethoven is and was a very inspirational leader. With me being a singer myself, his strive, want, and need for his own personal best makes me want to be determined and strive just as well. Beethoven didn't do or compose his materials to satisfy the needs of others. Although he was criticized, he never allowed others to uproot him, deprive him, or psych him out. His materials were used to please and satisfy himself. I am very proud to claim him as a part of our American history in the Reconstruction era. Beethoven's full name is Ludwig von Beethoven, and he had a lot to offer America. He was born in the time of colonization on December 17, 1770 in Bonn, Germany. Beethoven influenced, motivated, inspired, and recrafted positive outlooks on Americans' romantic music and classical music. In order for him to get to where he was, he needed a push. And his push, or as we call it, a publisher, his main publisher's name was Pershey. His last name is unknown. Beethoven wrote to his publisher, Pershey, in London to say that he received the confirmation of ownership, which he has to sign. He draws his attention to the demand for a further 10 ducats for copying and postage, which he has not been paid. In summer-autumn 1816 and January 1817, respectively, Pershey published Beethoven's Op. 96, 97, and a piano reduction of the Symphony Op. 92. Beethoven and Pershey were pretty close friends, and also they had a previous relationship before they became partners. Once Beethoven got the push he needed, he began composing more symphonies. His first symphony, titled Allegra, didn't do as well as he thought it would. The symphony was presented in the first audition at concert thrown for his benefit at the Imperial Theater in Vienna on April 22, 1800, and dedicated to the Baron Gottfried von Steuben, director of the Imperial Library, an intimate friend of Haydn and Mozart, and a few months later it again presented at the Judaschauen Hall in Leipzig. The symphony, seen from all points of view, is a classical one, strongly anchored in the coordinates of the Wiener musical life, especially since Mozart's last symphony, as well as those of Haydn, had smitten the Wiener public, setting a certain standard that Beethoven will take into consideration. Because this one didn't do so well, Beethoven had to keep pushing forward. His fifth one is his most famous because of its simplicity at first. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony in C minor, Op. 67, is rightly considered a natural continuation of Symphony No. 3, Erosia, because it approaches the same themes as it expresses in the relationship between partial and general. The name under which it sometimes circulated, the Symphony of Destinies, is linked into the words of Anton Felix Schneider, his biographer, who, invoking an explanation given by the composer referring to the first bars in Part 1 of the Fifth Symphony, stated, "So pochtstond Schnaschkel a die Pforte," which means, "That's how destiny knocks on your door." Beethoven's Fifth Symphony in C minor of 67 Op. was presented in the first audition of December 22, 1808 in the concert halls of Wiener Theater. Because of his Fifth Symphony being such a success, the Blum and Music for Klausischer Bach published him. The violin was Beethoven's favorite instrument to play. He described the sound as it creates a soothing inner ease. The oldest first edition of the Centers collection for the two of Beethoven's composers was from his youth in Bonn. The song Schustergrund Ich Manchen, Wu 107, and the Rondo of C minor. These first appeared in the monthly musical magazine Bundesliga für Konservatoire, published in 1783. The first editions of Beethoven's early works are particularly important sources, and most of his autograph manuscripts for these were lost. This magazine was a very big musical sensation at the time. People always looked up for it, and it was read by many. Beethoven had a deep encounter with Julia Guicciardi. Although he never married, he came very close to it. He especially became very intimate with Miss Guicciardi. Once, once it was one of his last love letters was addressed to her. The letters was written to Julia by Beethoven. They were so heart-filled that a movie was dedicated and based off of their relationship, titled The Immortal Beloved, created in January 6, 1994. The movie portrayed all of the affairs, problems, and accomplishments between them. So, the letter to Julia Guicciardi. Beethoven's love letter is a very famous work of art. It is often quoted in the literary media as well as television, movies, and commercials. Beethoven was known to love many women, and as his friend F. G. Wingler once wrote, Beethoven was never out of love. The letter was found amongst the composer's things after he was dead. It was not addressed to anyone, nor was it dated with a year. It was unclear whether or not the letter was ever sent or seen or returned. All we know is that it was written on the 6th or 7th of July. But based off of previous watchings from Beethoven's friends and peers, the letter was most likely addressed to Julia Guicciardi because they were in a relationship during the time period. So, we don't know if she ever got it, but if she did, then we're assuming she'd be very happy about it. The Heilige Testament was the last recorded document that Ludwig von Beethoven wrote. It was written but not mailed before his death. It was found lying on his bed next to him. Once read, it was described to all of his troubles, accomplishments, and mistakes. The testament-like document was found in Beethoven's room after his death. It was written in October 1802 in the Heilige Dachstein, a Vienna suburb where Beethoven stayed for half a year, spring-autumn 1802. At the indicators of his doctrine, the testament was just to his brothers Karl and Johann, even though strangely enough the name Johann didn't appear on the testament, being replaced by a blank space, with the mention to be read and excused after my death. The last letter of the man dying, or even worse, trying to commit suicide. By reading the testament, we can notice how Beethoven rejects suicide as an option for a man of art as himself. We find out later that Beethoven's illness was because of lead poisoning. It's not certain, but most people are pretty sure that's what killed him. Scientists began trying to figure out what really killed Ludwig von Beethoven almost as soon as he was buried in 1827. He had complained of wrecked existence with a long list of symptoms: abdominal pain, digestive trouble, chronic bronchitis, foul body odors, and extremely bad breath. And of course, there was a hearing problem. All of these symptoms and some DNA from his hair pointed to the death by lead poisoning. Although it's still unknown officially what caused his death, most hands point to this direction. Now, let's ask a few questions. You, ma'am, who was Beethoven's mother? Beethoven's mother was Maria Magdalena. She died when Beethoven was 17, but was a wonderfully kind woman who Beethoven loved very much. You, sir.
How many symphonies did Beethoven compose?
9. His 3rd, 5th, and 7th and 6th are the most popular. You, ma'am.
Beethoven's last performed as a pianist in what year?
1814. Beethoven started going deaf as he turned into the century. At this performance, it became sadly apparent that he could not always hear what he was playing. You. When was Beethoven officially classified as deaf? After 1819, all conversations with him had to be written down. Thank you. Please exit on your left and have a wonderful day. Oh, and please enjoy Beethoven's 5th Symphony music on your way out. Thank you. Oh, and please enjoy Beethoven's 5th Symphony music on your way out. Thank you. Oh, and please enjoy Beethoven's 5th Symphony music on your way out.